Hello, lovely people. Guess what? Somebody has something good for us today. We're gonna do a book that's got well, it's gonna look backwards, but let me do this. Let me do this. Let me do this. Flip the camera. And let me do this. Bada bing. There we go. Yeah. So yes, that's what we're gonna do today. Alright? We're gonna do chapter 1. Yeah, chapter 1 for today, and we're gonna do becoming an intentional leader. So the name of the book is How Successful People Grow. It's by John C. Maxwell, right? 15 ways to get ahead in life. Cool. So today is the 1st of September, first of a new month. We're going to take on this challenge of this book, and it's 15 chapters. The recommendation is that we do a chapter per week. I don't want to do a chapter per week. That's going to take long. I want to do a chapter per day. So, chapter 1, right, is become an intentional leader. Growth doesn't just happen. How do you get better at what you do? Question. How do you improve your relationship? Question. How do you gain more depth and wisdom as a person? Question. How do you gain insights? You know the next one, questions or question. How do you overcome obstacles? Work harder, work longer, wait for things to get better. All questions. If you focus on goals, you might hit goals. But but that doesn't guarantee growth. If you focus on growth, you will grow and always hit goals. So I'm going to go over that part again. If you focus on goals, you might hit goals, but that doesn't guarantee growth. If you focus on growth, you will grow and always hit goals. Growth gaps or growth gap traps, right? If you have dreams, goals, or aspiration, you need to grow to achieve them. But if you're like most people, you have one or more mistaken belief created gaps that keep you from growing and reaching your potential. Take a look at the following 8 misconceptions about growth that may be holding you back from being as intentional as you need to be. So number 1 would be the assumption gap. Assume that I will automatically grow. When we are children, our bodies grow automatically. As a year goes by, we become taller, stronger, more capable of doing new things and facing new challenges. I think many people carry into adulthood a subconscious belief that mental, spiritual, and emotional growth follows a similar pattern. Time goes by and we simply get better. We're like Charlie Brown in the Charlie's, I think this is Skulls, SCHULZ, Skulls, Shuckles, that word, right? Peanut comic strips, who once said, I think I've discovered the secret of life. You just hang around until you get used to it. The problem is we don't improve by simply living. We have to be intentional about it. So we don't grow by just simply being alive. We have to be intentional about it. All right? No one improves by accident. Get that? Nobody improves by accident. Personal growth doesn't just happen on its own. And once you're done with your formal education, you must take complete ownership of growth, progress, or process. because nobody else will do it for you. If you want your life to improve, you must improve yourself. You must make that conscious goal. You must make that a conscious goal. That's number one. And number one was what? Assumption gap. Assume that I will automatically grow, which doesn't happen. Okay? Okay. It's not like when you're a child growing up and the body automatically grows. That's not the case anymore. You have to do it with intention. You know? If you get lined up again. Yes, back to what I'm doing. You know? Yes, number two would be knowledge gap. I don't know how to do it. Okay. Many people learn only from the school of hard knocks. Difficult experiences teach them lessons the hard way, and they change sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. The lessons are random and difficult. It's much better to plan your growth intentionally. You decide where you need or want to grow. You choose what you will learn, and you follow through with discipline, going at pace you set. All right? Think about what it is that you want to do. Whom do you want to be? Make a list of things that will help you reach that goal and be that person. Is there something on this list you want to do now? Today, do it. All right? When you start working actively towards your growth, you find that the door of personal growth opens a crack. Through that crack, you'll begin to see more growth opportunity everywhere. Your world begin to open up. You accomplish more, you learn more, other opportunities begin to present themselves. So that would have been number two, acknowledge or not the knowledge gap. I don't know how to grow. All right, and then number three, the timing gap. With the timing gap, it's not the right time to begin. Who have said that before? I have. Whether you feel prompt or not, now is the time to start growing. The reality is that you will never get much done unless you go ahead and do it before you are ready. If you are not already intentionally growing, you need to get started today. All right? If you don't, you may reach some goals, which you can celebrate, but will eventually plateau. And what's a plateau? Get into a particular area and just stay right there. All right? Once you start growing intentionally, you can keep growing and keep asking, what's next? After you reach a particular state, what's next? A particular growth level, what's next? Number four, the mistake gap. I'm afraid of making mistakes. Everybody does that. I am afraid of making mistakes. Everybody does that. And this one gets me real good. Growing can be a messy business. It means admitting you don't have the answers. It requires making mistakes. It can make you look foolish. Most people don't enjoy that. But that is the price of admission. If you want to improve, if you want to grow, you need to get over any fear you may have of making mistakes. There is a saying that one of my mentors would say, you fail forward. You see what's happening right here? This is what I'm talking about. Normally, you wouldn't get me to be in front of anything, doing anything, reading aloud in front of people. Normally, I would have been choked up all along. But guess what? That's the growth opportunity. Live and living colors. Voila! All right. I'm maintaining and curb my enthusiasm. Yes. Where was I? If you want to grow, you need to get over any fears you may have of making mistakes. As author and professor Warren Bennis asserts, a mistake is simply another way of doing things. To become intentional about growing, expect to make mistakes every day and welcome them as a sign that you are moving in the right direction. All right. Oh, one step in the wrong direction is better than no step at all. Yeah, I learned that too. One step in the wrong direction is better than no step at all for a lifetime, I believe the rest of it. I don't remember. But yeah, that was number 4. And then number 5 is perfection gap. I have to find the best way before I start. And a lot of persons like to do that, like to figure it out before they actually take on the actions. Similar to mistake gap is the perfection gap. The perfection gap. The desire to find the best way to get started in a growth plan. That's what I thought when I started working on my personal growth. But what I discovered is that I had it backwards. I had to get started if I wanted to find the best way. It's similar to driving on an unfamiliar road at night. Ideally, you like to be able to see your whole route before you begin, but you see it progressively. As you move forward, a little more on the road is revealed to you. If you want to see more of the way, then get moving. As simple as that. If you want to see what's going to happen for the next step, take the step. Inspirational gap. All right, the inspirational gap. I don't feel like doing it. Like this, I didn't feel like doing it. I've been, what do you call it? What you call it? I don't want to call it struggle. I've been back and forth. Let's use it layman. I was going back and forth. Go ahead, don't go ahead. Do it, don't do it. But guess what? Ta-da! Yes, the inspiration gap. I don't feel like doing it. You may not feel inspired to aggressively pursue a growth plan if you haven't started yet. If that's the case, please trust me when I say that the reason to keep growing far outweighs the reason to start growing. And you discover the reason to start with growth only if you stick with it long enough to start reaping the benefits. So make a commitment. So yes, make a commitment to yourself to start and stick with it for at least 12 months. Have I been doing it 12 months? I think I've been doing personal development 12 months, yeah. Yeah, stick with it for 12 months. If you do, you will fall in love. And yes, I have fallen in love with it. You will fall in love with the process. And you will be able to look back at the end of that year and see how far you've come. And I've come a far way, people. At one point, I don't even want to go in there. You couldn't get me talk like this. And sometimes my brain, tell me, hey, go back in that. You can get me talk like this. Yeah. But that's what personal growth does. Now it's going to be with intention. Intentionally. Number 7 would be a comparison gap. And a lot of people fall into this gap. Comparison gap. Oh my word. The first 10 years that I was intentionally pursuing personal growth, I was always behind trying to catch up. I had to get over the comparison gap. I recognized I needed to be exposed to bigger and better leaders outside of my own small circle. But when I stepped out of my comfort zone, I I was intimidated. It was clear that I was not in their league. Their organization were 6 times the size of mine, and they had many more and much better ideas than I did. I felt like I was in over my head and trying to swim. Despite that, I was encouraged. Why? Because I discovered that great men were willing to share their ideas, and I was learning so much. You can learn only if others are ahead of you. It was a it was a difficult transition, but it was well worth it. So if you are aware that others are better than you, don't be discouraged, be glad. Others are the others are there to help you, to help show you the way. Ah, others are there to help show you the way. And number 8 and last, the expectation gap. Ooh, this is what catch a whole lot of people. What's expected and seeking approval and all of that fun stuff. I thought it would be easier than this. No, not the easier than this. I don't know any successful person who thinks growth comes quickly and climbing to the top is easy. It just doesn't happen. People create their own luck. How? Here is the formula. Preparation, which is growth, like right now, plus attitude, having the right attitude. Your attitude determines your altitude. Plus opportunity. Opportunity comes, as it says rightfully up top. Once you start your growth journey, you're going to be surprised of the opportunities that presents itself. So it's plus opportunity plus action. So after these opportunity presents themselves, it's for you to take action. If you don't take action, that's where the difference is going to be. And then with action, there's a bracket there, doing something about it, which pretty much breaks down action, doing it. Yeah, that one. Equals luck. Okay? It all starts with preparation. Unfortunately, it takes time. But here's the best news. As Jim Rohn said, you cannot change your destination overnight. Overnight, yes, but you can change your direction overnight. If you want to reach your goals and fulfill your potential, become intentional about personal growth. It will change your life. Yes. Making the transition to intentional growth. The sooner you make a transition to becoming intentionally about your personal growth, the better it will be for you. Because growth compound and accelerate if you remain active in pursuing it. Here is how to make the change. 1, ask the big question first. And the big question goes like this. The first year that I engaged in intentional personal growth, I discovered that it was going to be a lifetime process. During that year, the question in my mind changed from how long will this take to how far can I go? That is the question you should be asking yourself right now. Not that you will be able to answer it. I started this growth journey 40 years ago and I still haven't answered it. But it will happen. But it will help you set the direction, if not the distance. Where do you want to go in life? That's a question. What direction do you want to go? What's the furthest you can imagine going? Answering those questions will get you started on the personal growth journey towards your potential. The best you can The best you can hope to do in life is to make the most of whatever you've been given. You do that by investing yourself, making yourself the best you can be. The more you've got to work with, the greater your potentials. And the farther you should, nope, hold on. The farther you should try to go. You know what I'm saying? Do it now. That's number 2. The greatest danger you face in this moment is the idea that you will make intentional growth a priority later. Don't fall into that trap. Nope, don't fall in there. By starting to read this book, you've already begun the process. Don't stop there. Keep taking more steps. Pick a resource that will help you grow and begin learning from it today. Face the fear factor. That's number 3. Number 3. That's teddy right there, number 3. We have fear. We all have fears, right? But here's the good news. We also have faith. We also all have faith. So I place emphasis on that one. The question you have to ask yourself is, what emotion will I allow to be stronger? Your answer is important because the stronger emotion wins. I want to encourage you to feed your faith, that's Faith, and starve your fear, Fear, right? And I've learned this one. Fear is false. Why did I just false evidence appear real? Dang it. Sheesh, girl. Dang. So yes, fear is false. Sure. Yes, that one. I just said it. False evidence appear real. Oh my God. Yeah. Yes, guys. False evidence appear real. That's fear. False evidence appears real. False evidence appears real. Click. Change from incidental to intentional growth. So incidentally growing versus intentionally growing. People tend to get into ruts in life. They get in an easy groove and they don't try to break out of it. Even when it's taking them in the wrong direction, after a while they just get by. If they learn something, it's because of a happy accident. Don't let that happen to you. If that is the attitude you've developed, then you would do well. And remember that the only difference between a rut and a grave is the length. That's supposed to hit home. The only difference between a rut and a grave, so a rut is like this and a grave is like this. So yeah, that's the difference between the two. If you want to reach your potential and become the person you were created to be, you must do much more than just experience life and hope that you learn what you need along the way. You must go out of your way and seize growth opportunities. And if your future depends on it. Why? Because it does. Growth doesn't just happen. Not for me, not for you, not for anybody. You have to go after it. All right. And then last aspect of it for that chapter, because I think I did that chapter in probably like 30 minutes. Yeah. Or 15 minutes thereof. So yes, the last chapter of it, or the last aspect of that chapter, how to become an intentional leader. Which of the growth gaps discussed in this chapter Have you caused, hold on. Which of the growth gaps discussed in this chapter have you caused you to neglect? Have caused you to neglect. Whew. Yes. Which of the growth gap discussed in this chapter have caused you to neglect growing the way you perhaps could have? What strategies can you create and implement to help you bridge the gap? Write a specific plan for each gap that applies to you and take the first step of that plan today. So yeah, today. Number 2. Take a look at your calendar for the next 12 months. How much time have you specifically scheduled for personal growth? If you're like most people, your answers will be none. Rework your calendar so you have an opportunity with yourself for personal growth every day. 5 days a week, 50 weeks. Yeah, 50 weeks a year. If you want to succeed, you need to do whatever it takes. I like what's happening right now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then number 3 and last, start now. No matter what time of the day you are reading these words, make a commitment to start growing today. Give the first hour before you go to sleep tonight. Put in the time today. For the next 5 days, you probably won't feel like doing it. Do it anyway. And that would be chapter 1. Yeah. So chapter 1. The chapters are pretty small. So chapter 1 of How Successful People Grow by John C. Maxwell. Alright. So that would be my 2 cents for today, guys. Alright. That would not just me sharing what I've learned, but we've learned something together. And we'll be learning as the week progresses. Alright. So have yourself a blessed day. Stay positive. Don't focus on the energy that is out in the world. Focus on your inner peace and don't let the energy outside change your inner peace. All right? Peace out. Stay blessed.